Hey y'all. So today gonna be a bit of a, I guess like a rant. I don't even know how I'm gonna title this video because it's just like a lot of stuff that I'm seeing and it's kind of disheartening, and I wanted to speak on it because I feel like it's super important that I try to get this message out. I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it, okay? I've been on Instagram and I was just looking at a few of the ladies and I could see that they're struggling. The problem is that I tell them what to do, right? And I feel like the message is not being received. And I know it's a very hard thing. And I know it's a very hard thing for somebody to tell you, hey, you need to change this. I know change is extremely hard. But the thing that I worry about is that the change is not going to be made no time soon, or the change is not going to be made in time. And if the change is not made in time, you're gonna quit. You're gonna quit your wig business because you're gonna get really frustrated. And I don't want to see that. The biggest problem that I'm seeing right now is that you don't have a signature style. There's nothing special about your brand. There's nothing special about your wig business. When I go to your page, when your potential customer come to your page, there's nothing special about you that makes you stand out. You look just like every other wig business that they have out there. Not every, but you know what I mean? You look like the 90% of wig businesses that's out there. They all have multiple different styles, multiple different looks, and none of them are actually that good. Like, so you have multiple different wig styles, but you're a master at none. So none of the wig styles actually shows your expertise. So why do you expect someone to come to your page and trust you? Why do you expect someone to spend their money with you when they can't tell what you're an expert in? I told y'all this is gonna be a rant, but I'm gonna try and make it fast because I don't wanna be on here all night. You can see I'm cozy in my house. I just have to get these stuff out. I wrote a few notes just so I could like say what I have to say. But y'all listen to me. Number one, you need to get a signature style wig. If you go into 2025 and you don't have a signature style wig, you are not going to survive in this market. And I want you to remember that I tell you this. I want you to remember that I told you if you don't have a signature style wig in 2025, you're not going to survive in the wig market. And if you do survive, I wish to leave this video here so that you could come back and prove me wrong. I wish that you would prove me wrong, actually, because if you prove me wrong, that's good for you. I'm happy for you if you're able to prove me wrong, but I don't think you could prove me wrong because I know this market. I've been in this industry I started my wig business about 6 years ago, but I've been in the whole hair extensions. I can see the market. Okay. You need to get a signature style wig because you need to build trust with your potential clients. You need to be able to show your expertise to your potential clients. Okay? And you need to gain credibility in this market. You need to be able to gain credibility, meaning people need to know your name. When they're talking about a certain look, whatever look that you want to master in, they need to be able to say your brand name, or they need to be able to say your name and associate you with that look. If you're not doing that, you're not going to stand out in this market. You are not going to stand out. Stop selling multiple wig styles. Stop promoting multiple wig styles. On your page, you're selling bundles, you're selling pre-made wigs, you're selling all these different stuff, you're buying branded packaging. Why are you spending money on packaging? You don't even have a product. You shouldn't be spending money on branding and you don't even have a product. The first thing in business is to have a product to take to the marketplace. You understand? That's your first goal. That's your first priority, is to make sure that you have a product to take to the marketplace, that somebody actually want to pull out $400 or $500 and buy from you. You understand? And then I see people selling tutorials. Why are you selling tutorials? You are not an expert. Why are you selling tutorials? Now, granted, they have people who selling wigs and selling tutorials, but they're a master at their craft. They're a master at what they do. You just joined the industry. You have no expertise. You have not mastered your skills, but you're ready to promote tutorials? For who? For who? I've seen a lady on TikTok recently, just last night actually, and she's talking about the Legos hairline. Okay, I spoke about this hairline, I think in a masterclass or one of the previous videos. I spoke about this hairline. Me personally, I don't do the Legos I don't do the Legos hairline just like they do it. I do mine a little bit different, because for me, I absolutely love the hairline because it's natural and it's realistic, but at the same time, some of them have too much of a widow's peak for me. Some of them are too defined. So I basically did it into my own type of style. I'm gonna play the video so you can hear what she has to say. The thing about this is, this video was from TikTok. If you go on TikTok and read the comments and see how many people agree with her, you realize that in 2025, if you don't have the skills, you're out the game. If you don't have the skills in 2025, you're out the game. I'm telling you now. So you better buckle down on your skills and understand that this market is about to shift. This market is about to shift. A lot of high value women who used to wear lace wigs, they stopped wearing lace wigs and they started wearing clip-ins and tape-ins and those different extensions that looks more natural. Because once a woman reached to a certain caliber and she carried herself a certain way, she's not going to want that lace wig that shows up, that's giving her that wiggy look. She's gonna want a natural install for her wigs. So you need to know how to customize the wigs in a way where you send them off to your customers, they can just put it on their head and they get that natural install. I'm gonna play the video for you real quick.
Let me say something before I go pick my kids up. Maybe this is not even my business, but I'm gonna speak on it because I live in America and I'm black. But US girlies, can y'all get y'all speed up with the wigs? Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. US girlies do their wigs like this. Exactly how this headband is, that's exactly how they pluck the hairline. Versus UK girlies, they make your hairline look like an actual hairline. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is the US hairline. It's not bad. It just don't look like this one. Hold on. Like, that's a real hairline. Like, that looks like somebody's real head right there. Versus American girlies do they wigs like this. Like, why? Why can't we get on the speed the girls in the UK and the girls in Africa is doing their wigs? This is exactly why I don't wear wigs. Like, I don't like that look. I'm not even gonna front. I don't like that look. Now, let me show you guys another UK girly install. Like, come on. Are you serious? I promise you, if you do wigs like you live in the UK, you're going to take everybody's business. You're going to take everybody's clients, because literally everybody in the US do their wigs like this. Everybody in the US do their wigs like this. So if you take a class from a UK girly, a girl in Lagos, a girl in Africa, you're going to be taking everybody's money. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
You see? Now, I want you, when you get a moment, to go on TikTok and read the comments under this post. The comments under this post tells me that 2025, the ladies expect a shift. It's not that women don't spend money on wigs. Women spend money on wigs, but it's hard. Right now, everybody have high discernment when it comes to purchasing online. It's not just wigs. For everything, right? People discernment are really, really high with letting go of their money. But I personally believe that the economy gonna have a shift next year financially, and it's gonna rise where a lot more people have disposable money to spend, and their discernment wouldn't be so high. So the people who they're looking at like, oh, let me give them a try, I think that most sales are gonna start to basically circulate in this industry and for everybody. Okay, so 2025, I feel like it's going to be a year of if you in, and if you out, you out. Now, if you can't afford the wig customization and styling course that I've created for you, let me give you a few tips to help you going, right? The most important customization techniques you need to have are bleaching the knots, styling the wig, and customizing the hairline. Those are the three most important, and in that order, and I'll explain to you why. No matter what style you do, you need to know how to bleach the knots. You have to know how to bleach the knots on your lace in order to give that scalp-like illusion, okay? You have to know how to bleach the knots. So the first thing that you should focus on is figuring out how to bleach the knots. The most important factor when you're creating a mixture is to make sure that you have like some sort of thickness to it. It needs to be thick enough so that it don't seep through the lace. Okay? It needs to be thick enough so that it don't seep through the lace. If you allow the bleach to seep through the lace, it's processing the hair strands quicker than it can process the knots on the lace. And that's what causes over bleaching in the hair. Okay? So figure that out, and don't process your units longer than 45 minutes. If you go past 45 minutes and your knots have not lifted, you have a problem with quality. There's a quality issue there. By 45 minutes, your knots should be lifted. So that's the most important factor. That's a few tips that I could give you when it comes to bleaching. The second most important is styling your units. If you don't have money to invest in your wig styling skills, that means you have time. That means that you need to take the same platform that you're looking at me at and take the time and search for styling tutorials until you find the right styling tutorial to help you style your wig for free. That's just what you have to do. The biggest thing about investing in a course, you're basically minimizing time, okay? That's it. Because you can take your time and find the answers, but time costs money, and everybody knows that. That's why people pay us for courses. But if you don't have it, you don't fret yourself. You take your time and you look for it. You search for it on TikTok, on YouTube. You piece the little stuff together and you figure it out. That's what you're supposed to do, okay? So basically, the reason why I say the second most important thing is style, right, is because once you finish bleach the knots, depending on what style you decide to go with for your brand, you don't have to have your customization for the hairline, okay? You don't need that. I'm sorry, you know you need to make sure you flatten out the top of your wigs, right? You need to have that skill. But you don't need to know how to customize the hairline if you're doing something that requires curtain bangs, right? If you decided for your wig business, you want to create wigs that has curtain bangs, you don't need to know how to customize the hairline. You just need to know how to bleach the knots. And if you want to take it a step up, you're going to need to know how to pluck the part, but the plucking of the part is not necessary. So let me just keep you focused. You still know how to bleach your knots. You still need to know how to bleach your knots. And then you need to know how to style your wigs. And that's it. Now, the third step in this is knowing how to customize your hairline. Because if you're wearing a unit like what I have on, then you need to know how to customize the hairline, right? And the thing about even this unit that I have on, I think I made this unit in 2022. Yeah, it definitely wasn't last year. So this unit that I have on is really an older unit. And to be honest with you, to me, the more the hair removes from the lace, to me, the more natural it look. You know, depending on where it got pulled out at, you know, you get what I'm saying. But basically what I'm saying is you need to decide what's your signature look. And you need to dial in on that for 2025. Dial in. The next thing that I just want to talk to you about really quick is your website. And it kind of just goes back to me. It kind of just goes back to me saying that you need to have one signature style. When people come to your website and you have an influx, I hope that's the word because I be creating stuff sometimes, but you have an influx of different styles on your website and none of them look good. None of them look good. This is the issue, right? I go to the website and it's like you have this wig, that wig, but none of them shows your expertise. None of them are good enough. So why are you not just taking all your energy, right, and focus in on one style? One style, that's it. That's it. Focus on one style. Once you master that style, and I tell you, stick with that style for at least, I want to say at least a year, but I know y'all not going to listen. But take it as at least a year, okay? I'm not giving you no more shortcuts, right? But what you could add to it is a color. And it's very easy for you to learn how to do the watercolors, okay? You don't master the style. Now say, okay, let me add a color to my brand to give it a little bit of flavor. And you add a color, but it's the same style. So I'll have this unit selling, and then I'll probably color this unit in burgundy or chocolate brown, and then I'll have those two primary units. That's the only thing that I will do for a year. I will master this look. I will refine the look, and I will continue to refine the look over and over and over until I build my credibility in the market space, until every layer is falling how I want it to fall when I present my wigs, until I make sure that the curls are sitting the way I want them to sit. Everything about the unit you need to master. Everything. So back to what I was saying, when I go on your website, you don't need to have so many units. Ideally, I would love for you to have one single unit, but I know you're not going to listen. I know you're not going to listen. So I'm just going to tell you this. If you have more than 5 units, they're coming off your website. You have more than 5 units on that website, they're coming in, they're going out. They don't trust you. They don't trust you. No. They're not going to trust you because you have multiple styles and none of them are perfect. And not saying that perfect is a strong word, but you understand what I'm saying? None of them are saying, choose me. I don't know. For me, I'm really wanting to dial in right now because now that I take this shift as a wig styling coach, I'm trying to stay focused on just doing wig styling tutorials and focusing on that. Right? Because just as I'm telling you is what I'm learning from the multimillionaires that I follow and I do research on. They say for you to reach from $0 to $1 million, you need to focus on one product. One product. And you need to refine that product over and over. So me, I'm on a mission to $1 million, right? And so for me, it's the reason why I choose to really cut the wigs off and just focus on the tutorials because I find a lot more enjoyment in that. I somehow feel like I'm probably gonna bring my wigs back, but I don't know. They say you can focus on one product. They say even 1 to 3 products you can dial in on, and as long as it's within the same business, of course, you can dial in on and still make $1 million. But for you to get there fast, They say you have to focus on one product and continue to make that product better and better. So for me, it's a lot for me to think about right now. I already cut custom wig orders off, so I'm no longer like taking custom wig orders. A lot of that have to do with what, number one, I'm relocating. So you're gonna see where I'm relocating to in maybe the next couple weeks, right? So I already knew that I was gonna relocate. So I couldn't take wigs after a certain point in November, right? I already know that. Basically, once I get settled in, then I'll kind of decide what's my next move. But like, even for me personally, I feel like I'm no longer gonna be on Instagram. Because if I'm doing tutorials, right, if that's my focus, YouTube would be my platform. You understand? Because people come to YouTube to learn. People go on Instagram to shop. So if I'm not selling wigs, then I don't really directly need to be on Instagram right now. And I want to actually hone in on one platform. But to be honest with you, I kind of do want to be blogging. And, you know, that's a long story, but long story short, I'm a writer. Like literally let me show you how my phone look. Could you see this? This is me just writing. I write out my thoughts all the time. And so I always knew for a very long time that I wanted to be a writer. And of course, I invested money in the course and everything, but I still didn't do it. It was the weirdest feeling for me because it's like, I have this talent. I'm a wig stylist, right? But I'm also like a writer. So it's like, Anna, how do you combine those? How do you explain that to people? Because people already know me for being a wig stylist. And it's like, how do I shift that and introduce them to who I really am, right? Because what you have to do in life is focus in on the things that makes you happy, the things that you can do without even thinking. Like I wanted to shoot this video for you from since yesterday. When I was on Instagram and looking at different stuff, and I was just feeling a little bit like sad, just watching people. I'm like, I could see that person want to win, but I could see they're struggling, and I see that they're not listening, right? But if I had a blog, I would have write it last night. I would have write it up and just post it on my blog. But because I knew I had to like put on my wig, fix my eyebrows, just do a little 1-2 to be a little bit presentable to come in front of the camera, it held me back. And that's the difference between basically somebody who just loved being in front of the camera and somebody who just prefer to write, right? Because for somebody else, it would have been easy for them to turn on the camera and say, oh, I'm in the moment, let me go, let me film. I think I said that word wrong, but whatever. It would have been easy for them to do that, but for me, it's not easy. Me, myself, I feel like I need to decide on one product, which would be the wig styling tutorial, one channel, which would either be YouTube or my blog. It definitely wouldn't be Instagram. I feel like I'm definitely gonna take a break from Instagram because I wanna hone in on one channel and then one avatar. I wanna help one type of person. That's the message that I wanted to share with you today. If you still don't understand what I mean when I tell you to get one signature wig, just look up Alex Hormozi. And you're gonna see when he speaks about one product, one channel, one avatar, he make over $100 million. That's the person I want to be listening to. That's the person that I want to be listening to. Anyways, that was my rant. This thing said 32 minutes, and I'm gonna see how I'm gonna cut half of this rant that I was ranting out. Alright, if you haven't took anything away from this, please create your signature wig style before 2025. This Friday, we're gonna have an increase in the tutorial. Yeah, because I'm supposed to cut off that sale for a long time, and I keep extending the sale because I know so many ladies want to come in. But the problem is as well is I feel too, when people spend less, they don't do the work. When people spend less, they don't do the work. So it's like I'm doing a disservice of keeping this item on sale. Like I'm doing a disservice to you, because when people don't put money into something, they don't do the work. They don't do the work. So when that program goes to the $7.95, then you're gonna be like, oh yeah, let me do everything that she says. Let me do everything that she says, right? Because you have to do everything I say before you could say that it don't work. You can't pick and choose. You could do everything I say, and then once it works for you, then you switch it up into how you want it, right? You switch it up and make it your own. But first, you gotta do what I say so that you can get results, and then you switch it up, okay? Thank you for being here. Talk to you in the next one.
I won't make it easy for you now.